All right, so hey guys, I'm going to give you guys my match review. Barcelona 5, Deportivo Alaves 1. What a performance this was. And honestly, I thought this would end 2-0. When we scored that second goal, I'm like, Koeman will make the changes, and it'll end 2-0. I'll get my prediction right. But holding below, we somehow won 5-1. And honestly, for me, this was a match that I'm very, 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 very shocked with. And I think this is the perfect preparation for us against Paris Saint-Germain. And coincidentally enough, 4 years ago, we faced Paris Saint-Germain around the same time. We defeated Alaves 6-0, and we all know what happened. The next game, we lost 4-0 to Paris Saint-Germain. So hopefully it doesn't repeat around this time, but wouldn't be surprised if it did. So we're going to go ahead and look at the lineups real quick, do my quick player ratings, and then we'll discuss about the games and the goals and some of the big chances. And then I'll talk to you guys about my overall, how do I feel about this game. So let's start with the player ratings. Let's start with Marc-Andre ter Stegen today, who in my opinion today was, I didn't think he was that great. Ter Stegen only made one save today. Honestly, to be fair, though, Alaves never really threatened us, and they only had that 2 big chance, and they only had 1 really big chance, and obviously they scored. So I can't really criticize Ter Stegen for that. So overall, I think Ter Stegen played okay today. I'm not going to go and say he played garbage. I think that's a bit harsh. However, I do think he played quite well today. So I'll give a 6. You could easily give a 5 if you want to. I won't be that harsh. Oscar Mingueza. Now, I want to talk about Oscar Mingueza real quick because this is a player for me that I haven't really particularly liked at the right back position. I haven't really been a fan of him. However, lately, he's actually been quite decent. He's been actually improving his crossing ability today. He was very pivotal for us for that first goal. And honestly, I think Oscar Mingueza for me is a player that I think he could be a good replacement for Serginho Dest. You know what I'm saying? And I think he's playing decent for someone that's out of position, you know what I'm saying? And I think his crossing today has been evident, and I think we're starting to see what we need from Oscar Mingueza, I'm still not quite sure he can be our permanent right back. I don't think he can. However, he is a good replacement so that Serginho Dest doesn't have to play all the games. We saw earlier in the season, Serginho Dest was forced to play so many games because of the fact that Roberto was out injured, and now he's done a pretty good replacement. Now we don't really need Roberto particularly too much, so I think Oscar Mingueza, for me, I think he's done decent to fill up for that position. So I'm going to give Oscar Mingueza probably a 6, okay? I thought he played quite decent today. Maybe a 6.5, actually. Frankie de Jong for me today, I didn't think he was that. Frankie de Jong for me today, I thought he had a good game. He was playing the center back position, which was something that was kind of a bit odd to some people. I know some people say, why in the earth is he playing center back? The reason why he was playing center back today is considering that Umtiti just wasn't really good enough to start, and then Mingueza was starting the right back position, so there was really no other options. So I think Frankie de Jong started there. I think he did an okay game. He wasn't as forward-minded as he was today, simply because he had to play both center back and the CDM position. And so he wasn't able to play in the CM position today, so that's why we didn't see de Jong make those forward runs or the that kind of stuff today. Overall, though, I think defensively today, I think he was decent. I thought he had an okay game. Not too much to speak about there. So hopefully on Tuesday, de Jong plays in a further CM position, because I think we're going to need de Jong more in the CM position rather than the CDM, because I think, for me, I think that's where we can get the best out of de Jong. That's where we've seen the best version of de Jong. Although I do think today he played quite well, considering he was his versatility. So I'm going to give him 6. Next one is Clement Lenglet. Clement Lenglet has been a player, you guys know, I've been criticized so much this season, especially for his mistakes and his ability. He can't keep up with pace. I think today he had a good game. I think today he had a decent game today, and this was probably one of his best games in a while. And honestly, I think Lenglet he was much better. He didn't get beaten for pace. It wasn't his fault we conceded the goal. And I think overall, man, Lenglet just had an okay game. Now, am I going to say he had an amazing game? He's the reason why we kept it. He's the reason why the scoreline's only 2-1 to them? No. He's not the reason why, but I do believe he had an okay game, and this was a much better performance we have seen from Lenglet compared to the previous game. So I'm going to give Lenglet 6.5 on the day. And I think there was one time he actually did a very good challenge, very good aerial duel there. And I think Lenglet, for me, I'd be like, to be honest with you guys, I think if you want to get the best out of Lenglet, you just have to play with PK. And I feel like he's very, very similar to Rafael Varane in that sense. So that's just my whole take on Lenglet. Next up, we have Junior Firpo. Junior Firpo, for me, is a player that I've also not been very particularly fond of this season. He's played very limited minutes. He hasn't particularly been impressive. And I think today, Junior Firpo played quite well today. Obviously, he scored that goal, which is huge for him. He needed that confidence. And there's been a lot of talks that Firpo might leave this season, and I think this could potentially be his final season here at the club. And I think Firpo, for me today, he was quite decent. He was playing that left back position. Jordi Alba didn't come on at all for this game. We know how much Jordi Alba has been really used up, especially how good he is. And I think Junior Firpo today had a decent game. He was making those forward runs. He was quite decent for us today. And I think Firpo, for me, just today we saw a good version of Firpo. Granted, this Alaves team are 16th place, so make it that what you will. So I think Firpo today will give us 7. You could even give it 6.5. Alex Moreba, I think today he had a good game. He had an amazing game. And I was surprised he even started this game. On his La Liga debut, he provided that assist for that Trincao goal. Obviously, he did give away the goal for he did give away the ball for the Alaves goal, which was a very cheap mistake on his part. For the most part, though, I think he had a decent game. There was a good chance he could have scored. However, Trincao decided to go for it himself rather than pass it to him. So I think, for me, Alex Moreba, he had a very good game. And I'm very happy with him. I think this is someone that we need in our midfield. We never really had that physical presence. And I think he is someone that could be a very good option for us in the future, And I'm going to give Alex Moreba a 6.5. I thought he was pretty good today. Busquets, to me, this was probably one of his best games we have seen in a while. Busquets, to me, today, he looked really awesome. He provided that lovely assist for that Messi goal, which was a banger, honestly. What a shot that was outside from the box. Amazing goal, of course. And I think Busquets today, to me today, he controlled the midfield. He had some nice, tidy passes, and he wasn't beaten for pace. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like the thing about Busquets, we all criticize him so much, is the fact that he isn't very defensively astute and that he can't read the game as well as he did, especially his lack of pace, But I can guarantee you right now, Busquets is still a very intelligent player. Despite the fact he's obviously nowhere near the prime Busquets we've seen. He is still a very good player for us and still a player that we need. I believe we still need to this team, and we need a replacement for him sometime soon in the future. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I thought he played quite well today. I'm going to give him a 7. I thought he played very well. Next up we have is Ricky Puig. Ricky Puig today, he played very well. He played very well, despite him not scoring or assisting today. I thought he had a good game for me. He looked very lively in that midfield and provides so many passes, 119 passes, I believe, a lot of forward passes. And I think Puig is someone that he's been very, very important for us. And I think Puig is someone that we just have to give him more game time to get the best out of him. We saw how much game time he was given for under Setien last season. He was a baller. So I expect Puig to more or less be the same. So I think Puig for me today, I'll give a 6.5. I thought he was pretty good today, and I'm very happy now. Maybe he might be able to start against PSG, although it's probably unlikely. Let's be real there. Next up is Francisco Trincao. And oh my goodness me. Remember how I told you guys against Real Betis that Trincao is a player that once he gets that goal, he'll become the player that we need. And once again, guys, he's proven his class today. What a goal from Francisco Trincao. What a brace from him today. He actually scored a hat trick. He actually almost did, and it was offside for the last 6th goal, and that would have been amazing for him, and sadly, it was disallowed. And honestly, for me, Trincao had an amazing game. He took on shots. He was very clinical today, and I think Trincao, man, I think he's begging for a start. I think he's pushing for a start because, with no disrespect to Dembele, I think Trincao has been playing very well. I think Trincao has been playing very, very well indeed, and this is one of his best games I've seen, for sure. So I'll give it 7.5. Very, very good performance from him today. Very happy for him. Next up, it is Lionel Messi. Of course, it's the GOAT. Lionel Messi, in my opinion, today was amazing. And he actually could have scored a hat-trick, too, today, if you think about it. And if it wasn't disallowed for that VAR goal. And because I believe Griezmann's shoulder was offside, if I'm not mistaken. And Messi, man, braced today. Got that assist, too, as well. Messi, man, he's just unbelievable, man. What a performance for him today. And he continues to show how good he can be. And, and I think Messi, for me, is a player that we really need for the future. So, maybe not future, but Messi continues to show how good he can be. So I'll give Messi probably a 9. I thought he was very, very good for me today. My man of the match, by the way. And then finally, we have Antoine Griezmann. Despite Griezmann not being very good today with his chances, I know he had a great chance to score. And I think Trincao also had a great chance. He did provide 2 assists, though, which, to be honest with you guys, is very important. And I know some of us aren't really particularly fond of the assist number. We would rather them score, of course, I'd rather a player score at the end of the day. But assists are important, too. And I think Griezmann today, can just show how important he is for this team, and that not necessarily goal scoring wise, but really the playmaking wise. Although I still want to see Griezmann play well in the massive games, especially against Paris Saint-Germain, which is coming up very soon indeed. So I'll give Griezmann, man, a 7.5. I thought Griezmann today was very good. Okay. We're gonna move on to the bench real quick. I'm gonna hover over the bench players real quick. These bench players never really made a huge impact in the game. Although I will say one player from the bench really stood out to me, which was Pedri. Pedri today, I thought he had a really good pass for Lionel Messi's goal, which was denied by Pacheco, and then I think Trincao scored I think Trincao got the loose ball and he scored. So the rest of the substitutes, I will say I'll give them a 6, particularly simply because they didn't really have enough time to ease into the game, and I didn't think none of them were any really that impactful in the day. So, yeah, Pedri for me today was pretty good. So I'll give all of them probably a 6, and maybe Pedri a 6.5. So, with that said, let's go on to the goals. So the first goal came... basically the game started off with Barcelona creating chances. They were dominating the game for the first 20 minutes of the game. Barcelona created those chances. And it was very weird because Barcelona weren't really that clinical, and it looked for a while that this game could easily end 0-0. Then, of course, Mingueza provided that cross just before the stroke of the 30th minute. And then Moreba gets the loose ball. Moreba passes it to Trincao. Messi tries to get there. Trincao gets it first, and Trincao makes it 1-0. And at that point, it was 1-0. I was like, yes, it's a game. It's, we need a second goal now anytime soon. And then a great ball in from Sergio Busquets, I believe, to find Griezmann, and Griezmann tries to score, and it was a great save from Pacheco, and then Messi gets the rebound, and it was 2-0. But now, it was disallowed because there was an offside on Griezmann's shoulder, I think. It's like somewhere around here. Personally, for me, that's crazy. I don't know why on the earth is that decision. For me, that goal should have stood. I don't know. Are we really going to go this extreme? Like, do we really have to go into the body parts to determine if you're onside or not? To me, it's ridiculous. Just if you're behind the player, right? Your body's behind it. Just a little bit ahead, it shouldn't be a problem. Of course, they disallowed it. Something we have seen in England, I believe, last season a lot, especially in the Premier League. And it's 1-0. And at that point, I was frustrated. I was like, okay, hopefully this doesn't cost us. And just before the stroke of halftime, Busquets plays a great ball in for Sergio Busquets plays a great ball in. For Lionel Messi, it was a great long through ball. And Messi basically finds a space. And Messi gets past some Alaves players. And Messi shoots and scores. And Messi curls it in to make it 2-0. And at that point, it was a stroke at halftime. I was like, yes, game over. Game said and done. Now it's a matter of the substitutions. And I think Koeman will make substitutions. We'll probably see the game out 2-0 and I'll get my prediction right. Unfortunately, though, it wasn't, interesting enough, it wasn't like that, though. So basically, Koeman at halftime decided to make some substitutions. He decided to bring on Umtiti for Busquets. And to me, this was a bit of an odd substitution, but an understandable one, considering that Busquets needed rest, especially for that PSG game, of course. And Umtiti, if he is going to play against PSG, he needed some minutes to warm up, you know what I'm saying? And, of course, I think Umtiti will most likely not play against PSG. You know what I'm saying? And that, it was interesting. It was a crazy substitution. I don't think any of us were predicting that. And then Moreba makes a bad pass, and Rojo scores from Alaves. It was a great clinical shot, and it's 2-1. At this point, at the 57th minute, I was like, oh, God, seriously? You know what I'm saying? And I think Messi had a free kick, which I believe he missed, if I'm not mistaken. Then I also discussed about the big chances for Trincao and Griezmann. And Pedri went out and Moreba came in. And basically, that's where the game changed. Because at this point, this is where the game started to change. And Pjanic came on for De Jong. And then I believe Des came on for Minguez. And this is where these 3 goals basically secured the game. There was a brilliant pass from Pedri to find Messi. Messi tries to get there, saved by Pacheco. And then Trincao gets the rebound, and it's 3-1 to Barca in the 74th minute of the game. And at this point, I was like, game over. We'll probably win this 3-1. Then, guess what, guys? Griezmann plays a great ball in for Messi, and just after that goal was given, Messi goes through goal himself, and it is 4-1 to Barcelona. At this point, I was like, oh my goodness me, what is going on here? And then great pass in from Griezmann to find Junior Firpo. Junior Firpo makes it 5-1, and at this point, it was 5-1. And then, of course, I just discussed just towards the end, Trincao could have got a hat trick, and it was just offside. So what a match this is. This is a brilliant match, and I think we saw a lot of things today. First of all, number one is that this team doesn't allow any setbacks to take place. Because I know this team could have easily been frustrated with the 2-0 Sevilla loss in the Copa del Rey. Say, man, it's done. You know what I'm saying? They didn't allow them to get themselves. They bounced back and they rebounded hard and they played very well today. And I think that's hugely important that we're saying that it doesn't matter what happens. This team will always have the motivation to fight in these games. And that's very important. Number two is that Ron Koeman made key rotations and still won the game pretty comfortably. Like, if you had told me, because with our full-strength team, imagine what the score would have been. We probably would have won the 7-1, 8-1 maybe, And this was a half-rotated team, and we still managed to win 5-1. So it goes to show you that even with rotations, this team could still play very well. And number three is that the youngsters played well today. Moreba played very well. Puig played very well. Mingueza played well today. Firpo played quite well, and Trincao, man. So it's the youngsters are the way for us to go, and that perhaps maybe Koeman should start more youngsters in the big games. Now obviously I still believe this Barcelona team needs to deliver the big games because we haven't really seen that this season. Only one big team defeated this season, which was Juventus. And to be honest with you guys, that was a game which Juventus weren't even at their full strength squad. So who knows if they were full strength? That we lost their full strength squad at the Camp Nou, as we all know. So I still believe there are some works to be done with this team. I still don't believe this team is ready for the title. I don't think this team is ready for the big teams yet, but we are seeing that this team has been at least consistent against the inferior teams, against teams that are not in the top four. So a very, very good win for us. Huge win indeed, 3 points indeed. We have now taken back second place, and we will see what Real Madrid do tomorrow. They'll be playing Valencia, so hopefully Real Madrid drop points, you know what I'm saying? And it's going to be interesting. We'll see what happens there, And tomorrow, guys, I will have a Q&A. So remember, guys, to leave your question down below in the latest Q&A video. I'll leave a link in the cards video or somewhere around here. Check that area out. And yeah, guys, so I hope you guys enjoyed. Remember to comment, subscribe, check out my description for Twitter, Discord, and my email. And I'll see you guys later. Peace out.